Welcome to the Obesity Medicine Podcast with your host, Dr. Rentea, board certified in internal medicine and obesity medicine. Here, we talk about a path to metabolic health, and we have real conversations about chronic weight management and living a full life. Just a reminder, I am a physician, but I'm not your physician. So everything that's on this podcast is for informational purposes, but please go talk to your doctor about what's right for you. There is no medical advice being given on this podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today, I am so excited. We are going to have on today Marnie. She's a registered nurse who has her own, not only working in this area, but having her own health transformation journey. She's been part of my world for a long time. And I'm just going to say before she even speaks, she's just freaking amazing. Okay. So I'm bringing her on because the way in which she thinks is so inspirational and she's just so real about it. There's just something that when you got it, you got it. And she is one of these people. Marnie, can we start with you just introducing yourself and then tell me what you were telling me before this conversation, how you got into working in this space, and then a little bit about your journey, because I just think it's fascinating.
Yes, for sure. Well, first I want to just say how surreal this is for me because I go back to the time where I met you, where I sent a DM. I don't know how many years ago that was. And I'm like, do I hit send? Like, I want to ask her a question. And then when I got the voice message back, I was like at the clinic and I'm like, you guys, oh my God, I just got a voice message back. And that everybody was excited. And so for me to be here is just like, wow. And I was nervous. Like every part of me was like shaking and going around the house, forgetting everything. But here I am. Anyways, I am a 54, going to be 55 female who has struggled with weight my whole life since I was, well, I always say to my patients, like I was born 2 weeks early and 7.5 pounds, right? 7'2", I think. So it's like, I think I struggled from weight since birth, but really probably 10. And this has been my whole life. It's consumed me forever.
Yeah.
I wish I could go back to those years of when you're 10 years old, it really, from 5 to 10, it really didn't matter. You know, you wore no shirt and your blood was everywhere, and it's fine.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you hit that part of school where they start teasing you and everything. And so it's been forever. And I am a nurse. I started my career in pediatrics. I loved that. That was my jam for 18 years. But then I had 2 children. And I have a husband who does shift work, and it just wasn't working. Two doing 12-hour days and nights. It was crazy.
Rough.
So I moved into the primary care world at a clinic. Loved it. Working with patients like every single day. I was educating them. I had to be the nurse, the educator, everything. And it got to a point where here I was telling my journey almost 60 times in a day because that's how many patients we would see. Oh, what are you doing? Right. And that got a bit exhausting. But then my doctor was like, the patients are loving this, you know?
Yeah, because you're amazing. Yeah.
And he's frustrated with no resources, no time to patients are coming in and they're like, I want help with my weight. And we don't have anywhere here to send them.
Yeah.
So he said, you want to start a weight program? And I looked at it and I'm like, no, I'm a pediatric nurse. I don't do adult feelings, even though I've been doing them. Like, I look after children, sick children. I love sick children, right? That he kept bugging me. I'm like, no, what do I got to offer? And finally, I just was like, I'm going to lean into this. You got to get uncomfortable to get comfortable.
Yeah.
And so we started, I said I wasn't doing this alone. So my coworker and I were like, okay, we'll do it. He wanted to start the next day. I'm like, this isn't how we do a program. No, we got to build something that's sustainable, that's got values to it. So we took a few months, but yeah, just to build something that both of us have a journey. Mine is weight, hers is something different, but we deal with the same issues.
Yeah.
And so developing something that is not restrictive, that is sustainable for life, that's not a quick fix, but then to have a physician oversee so we can use medications.
Yes.
And so we're not anywhere near where the US is with medication, but it's coming. And so it's been rewarding for sure, but also exhausting because I live my own and then I live theirs. And this is an
Yes.
ongoing thing.
Okay, thank you for sharing this, but what a blessing for those patients that get to work with you because I find that it's not just about empathy and education, it's that lived experience that you get to share as well. You never give up on the patient because you're like, no, I refuse. I get it. I refuse to ever think that there's failure involved or that you're not going to be able to do this. I love that you at first you were like, and then it's like, no, this is
Yeah.
happening. So,
What do
okay,
I
so
have to offer? That's what I was thinking. I don't have anything to offer these people. Like, what do I know? And I mean, then I dove in and it was like, I am like re-listening to your podcast and re-listening and oh, who did she say that I should go listen to? It was like information overload
yeah,
and every minute of my day because I do things and I'm going to do it 110%. It's
yes.
not going to be half ass. It's going to be full in. I was like, I'm not starting until I'm ready. And then they had actually had to push me because you don't need to be ready. You are the reason that you're ready, not any
Yeah.
information that you get.
Plus, and I know other people that are listening, a lot of people have actually told me from listening to the podcast that it gave them confidence to start a practice or to do things. And I want to tell people we're never ready and our philosophies change over time. So this is a fallacy that I'm going to learn it all, I'm going to know it all. You learn from the patients and together protocols change, guidelines change, things change over time. We know this, right? But it's the willingness to even listen to who's in front of you. That alone is therapeutic to just even have the time for someone to hear what's going on. I'm curious with your story because I think that it's helpful for people to hear that you're super smart, you're educated, you know all the things, and yet you had a struggle, right? Biology and genetics plays a part. At what point in the past did you realize I want to work on this in a different way, or what happened when things happened differently for you in the past?
I always say I didn't have this dramatic bomb in my life that went off and said, wow. I mean, I did. I had multiple things in my life that I should have done something. That I had a father died of massive heart attack at 60. I have a strong history, cardiovascular, obesity, diabetes. My mom was a type 1 diabetic. I have it all out there, but that was actually more of a trigger for me to go the opposite way. Because then when my dad died, my mom said, now we've got to get our health under wraps here. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you bet. I'm going to go eat a bag of chocolate covered almonds. These weren't the things that got me going. I always say, I think I had this slow leak in my life tires. You know, it's like, zzz. And then I realized the PSI, I think, is quite low. It's like you're not pushing me. So when it got a little silent and less, like I always say, I waited till though, how ironic, my career and this, I waited till I thought I was ready. But then I'm like, how ready am I going to be? But ready to me was nobody's pushing me. You know, I hadn't just been to a doctor and they were like, well, you know, you should lose weight. Thank you. That's great
Right.
advice. I've heard this my whole life. There just seemed to always be a trigger, and that didn't make it. Like it had to be on my own terms.
This highlights, though, people think that this basically when you go to the doctor and they say that's kind of shaming, right? Because you're like,
Yeah.
okay, you're saying you should do XYZ, you're offering me no tools or anything. That is the opposite of what leads to self-advocacy. We do not
Yeah.
take action from those places, but yet we always think if I'm harder on myself and if someone else tells me. So I love hearing this that it's actually zero motivational, even though these things exist. And like I have the same, lots of family history. Unfortunately, that didn't get me going 10 years ago. It wasn't the thing. And you would think intellectually you see it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't move you from within. It's nothing positive, unfortunately.
Yeah, I just started. Actually, I tell my patients, I didn't start the right way. Okay, I started with calorie restriction because at that time, that's what I knew. But I
Yeah.
had to do something. I tried a bunch of things because I'm like, okay, let's do the zone because you get a cheat day, you know? But that just enhanced my binge eating because I'm like, I can binge on Sunday.
Yep.
Okay, that one's not working. So then I just was like, okay, let's just do calorie restriction. And I did a Google. It was just like, oh, how many calories should I have? You bet. I'm 5'3", and I'm doing no exercise. And that's where I started and just picked a weight. The key this time was like when I was done with calorie restriction, I didn't just drop. Then I was like, okay, what can I do now? If I keep needing this change because it's not working, what's my next thing? And then I just accidentally dropped into trialing like Ozempic. And it
Mm.
wasn't even like I always say, it was like a drug rep that came in, they talk about the medication and it was for diabetes. There was nothing about weight. And I was not even really queuing into it. And then all of a sudden he said, and the diabetics were losing X amount of weight. It's like, bung, oh, wait a minute. You're talking about weight. I'm into this conversation now because that's how I was. Any kind of infomercial or anything on TV, I'm like, what? Those pills can make you lose weight? You bet. Order them up. After he left, I said to the physician that I was working with, how'd you like to try me on that? Like, it's not going to give you hypoglycemia. Let's give it a whirl.
Yeah.
And at that time, he got samples,
Oh,
right?
yeah. I remember when I did primary care, they were up the wazoo until they got
Oh,
popular a few years ago. You
yeah.
had, yeah, yeah,
So I tried them. And so it was game changing. But I was like, okay, that's perfect. Drop it. And then I'm like, oh, wait. So then bring it back. And I
yeah,
did that for a little bit. And then it was just basically transitioned into this kind of weight program and blood sugar stabilizing. And it's like, okay, we teach them the same. Okay, protein, fiber, let's get the sugars. This is the life I can live.
yeah. So it
Exactly. I
made
don't,
sense what you
yeah,
came to. Yeah, it wasn't
yeah.
just like random calorie numbers.
I just didn't
Yeah,
drop it each time. So I think this time it was, okay, I did what I thought I needed to do at the time. And of course, in that period, I lost most of my weight.
yeah,
And so it was like, do not drop this now because this is good. I
yeah,
just didn't, every other time I just dropped it. I'd be lucky if I made it 9 weeks, really, in
yeah.
anything that I tried because I was frustrated.
You said I took a few notes here because this is good. There's no right way to start. 100% everybody ears open. There's no right way to start. It does not matter how you start. I don't sit here talking about calorie counting all day long, but that's because I don't see people be able to maintain it. But if that works for you to give some guardrails initially, by the way, the calorie counting usually doesn't work long term for people like me and you where it was from childhood. The other people that later in life came to it, they're usually fine with calorie counting because they don't have that trauma associated with it. Any way to start anywhere. And then the pivots, what can I do now? That's what you said. And I'm like, that's brilliant because it has to evolve. There's no version where our hormones don't change and things don't change. And you just kept pivoting. If you had someone out there and let's say that I love this tire analogy that you gave. Their proverbial pressure in the tire is low. And I like to think it's this whole, I don't know how I got here. People are just like, I'm so ashamed. I don't know how I got to however much overweight, things like that. What kind of tips or thought process would you offer to them to help them to get going or to keep going if they're in a rut?
First, honestly, we're not broken. If someone had just said that to me, you're not broken. There's more to you than restrictive diets. And the whole thing about this is for life, like honestly, if someone told me that, I don't know how many years ago, that this is forever. We just don't do this and then quit and we're good to go. You just don't get your tire changed and then you're good to go. Forever have to be checking the air in your tires. If I knew that, I think I would have accepted the whole thing about this being like a slow 1% upgrade. What's like my next best thing? Like to me, that wasn't even in my mind. It was just like, you just get her done. Oh,
Yeah,
wait a minute. Here it
yeah,
comes in 25 more. It's
right.
crazy. I even know with my patients, we're impatient.
Yeah,
But when you can wait it out and see this correction that happens in your body and actually feel like I didn't even know how to examine myself, be that scientist.
yeah,
How do you feel? Even you've asked me that. It's like, well, how do you feel? Do you feel strong? I'm like, hell yeah, I do. Okay, then why are we worried about different numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. Right? There's
Yeah.
just so much to this, and you cannot pick it all up in 6 weeks.
That is it. Because I tell people, even when they join my clinic, I'm like, look, basically, minimum count on 6 months to a year just to get your feet under you. And then, cool, if you want to transition to primary care. But most people end up sticking around a few years because that's how long it takes to figure out a few of these things that are going to last. Because you do things differently, like you said, when you know it's going to be for life. It's not just going to be a quick wham, bam, 1, 2, 3 months. Anyone can do that. But who cares? You do more damage if you go right back to where you were to begin with. So I love that you can't pick it all up in 6 weeks. And so impatience is something to work on just to learn. I always like to tell people like what magical is happening if it happens in 2 months versus a year. What's the difference? Any other things that you would offer to this person? They're just hopeless.
I would say mindset is another thing. Like seriously, just starting with something small. Mindset is probably later in, but don't wait till you're ready. Like just take the first step and don't have these high expectations. And for somebody who would be like me, who's a perfectionism, and as we're going to get into the taskmaster, just step in because you actually need somebody who can help you get on that self-compassion train because we can't get there because we've thought for years that this is our self-compassion, that perfectionism and the taskmaster, this is how we get things done. And this
Yeah.
is why we repetitively keep failing. And so sometimes you need that support of somebody else to see what's happening in there,
Yeah.
right? Having someone from the outside looking in. And that's why going to a program or being involved in a program that you can get that support and actually have someone look in and go, okay, and then bring it to your attention. Because I honestly didn't even know that the taskmaster was a part of my life
Can
until,
we talk about that? Because, so I want to say, and you've given me the okay that I can mention this, otherwise I wouldn't mention
yes,
that you've been in 30-30, things like that. So I want to talk about, I remember the first 30-30 round that you did, you were one of the people that was doing the most, okay? And this is what we mean by perfectionism. You had things written out, you had it charted, you had the list. And I remember on one call, and tell me if you remember this differently, because it's different how it lives in me versus how you're going to remember it. And I just remember being like, okay, so are you aware there's a taskmaster here and how it's like a million things? And I was like, I think your work is to not do some of that and that you'll make more progress. And I remember you being like, what? But how
yes.
did you interpret that with that moment?
Actually, that was, I will say that was the biggest turning point in my journey ever. And I was actually dumbfounded because it was, oh, you bet. I got my book all, and I had my labels in there because we talked about nut and seed and hydration and protein. And I had it all written out and my checklist of, yeah, I was doing this. And oh, yeah, and the kefir,
Yes. Yeah.
and then you were like, okay, we're going to pick one of these things, not all six of these. I'm like, but I can do these.
Yeah, because you were like A plus 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 plus. And I was like, but that's not actually the A plus student. And you were like, what?
And then I said, oh yeah. So the one day I'm bang on some stuff and I was, oh, I had my pickled beets, but I forgot to have my kefir. And I just went in and took a shot. I wasn't even hungry. And you're like, whoa, stop there. Why did we go back and have, oh, because it's on my checklist. It's to do, right? And oh, let's just stop and talk about that. And that's where it was like, I don't know. That's where a switch went.
I
That's
remember seeing it on your face. Honestly, the whole world changed. Like it's so fun when I get to see that. You saw what you were putting yourself through because you thought that's what was needed for success to do it perfectly.
100%. That was the only way I was going to be successful.
Do
I
you,
actually named him
yeah. Would you name him?
as a friend of mine. She names one of her little things. And so I named him Tommy. And I'm like, perfect. Because when you saw that, you were like, okay, let's just acknowledge that. What could we name it? Like you said, what do you call that? I'm like, oh, the controller, right?
Yes.
Now it's the taskmaster, but I'm like, okay, well, we're going to call him Tommy because you were like, can you just identify that they're here, but you actually don't need that right now? And so now that it has a name, Tommy, I'm like, Tommy, you know what? I don't really need you today. Like,
Yeah.
I know you're here and I know you're telling me, like, get your shoes on and go for a walk. You're actually at 10,000 steps, and that's okay. You don't need to go for another one.
Oh,
Having a name is just like beautiful because then you can identify it as being like before it's just this is just who I am. It's
yeah,
like
it's
giving
so
it a
exactly
personality,
a
you
hundred
know?
percent. It's such a problem versus, okay, fine, that's there, but I can still do other things if I want. It's not a problem. It's such a different energy.
Hmm.
Yeah. Ah, okay. Because people are going to hear this because they're there. And by the way, I do want to stress if people are listening, there's a time and a place for everything. When you first start out, you do have lists, you do have to learn things. Like there's a curve, but you were years into it, right? So I want to stress that to people. I'm not saying, oh, no one ever needs to have goals or things like that. That's not what we do in 30/30. We're very goal focused, but everyone has their work. And I love what you were saying, how even for me, like I need to be in programs where people point things out to me. I have two, three coaches on the regular in different areas
Yes.
because I can't see this stuff. And then I hear these comments from my coach. She said the other day, Tay, like you're a little bit in your mom era, right? I have a young kid. I was freaking out. Oh my gosh, she's sick. I've had to miss this work, that work. And you kind of catastrophize. She's like, Matea, that's the stage you're at right now. And I would pick that, but I need someone to remind me sort of what the values are and what the point is. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's a bad example, but we need people around us to point out sometimes the things that we can't see because otherwise we get really stuck in our own kind of loops.
Tommy can be very beneficial in my life,
Yeah.
right? I'm not saying that I need to remove him completely. I just in everything, in every pillar, it's just like that awareness of okay, because before it just blinders on and that's just all I know. And now bringing in it and being aware of it just makes it so much easier,
Yeah.
you know?
It's like there's
Like,
no bad parts. I always say that it's frankly, Tommy's really trying to keep you on the straight and narrow and trying to make you go forward and thinking that's the best for you.
yes.
Because all our parts are always thinking they're doing the best. And it's like, right now, I don't need you as much. Like right now, I'm just gonna, can you sit down a little bit while I go over here and do something different?
I tell my patients, I used to say that you're not crazy if you talk to yourself, but you might be a little bit crazy if you start answering. And I'm like, wait, because now on my weight journey, I do talk to myself and answer myself. I guess you got to be a little bit crazy on this.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not alone, but you're in the kitchen with yourself. You got to have these conversations.
Yeah, you're so right. Because I'm like, you spend the most time with yourself. You got to work on that dialogue. I do the same thing. I'm like, girl, you're amazing. I can't believe you just ate that and made that. You were tired and still made that because who else is going to do it? No
Yes.
one. There's no one out there that's going to give you that support, right?
Oh,
Um, and I always say you have to be the right level of delusional on this because you're wanting to achieve something that many of us have actually. I never have achieved this level of health in my life. And so to think that that's possible when you're not coming back to something that like there are a lot of athletes that like in like high school, college, were doing all this stuff and then they're coming back to it when they're 40, 50. That's not majority of who I'm working with. Like I'm working with people that their whole life has struggled with this. So it is a little delusional to believe that you can achieve something that you never could before, but you need
yeah,
it. Yeah.
absolutely. Yes.
One thing I know that you do that I'm always so impressed by, you are a really good meal planner. And I'm wondering, like, did you always do that, or is that something that you like started to incorporate? I'm really curious about that.
I've always been a baker.
Oh,
Not necessarily meals, but then just for me, I found that in order to be successful, I needed to have some sort of prep. Well, and perfectionist came in. And so it couldn't just be just this thing or that thing. It had to
okay.
be like, okay, well, you're going to have everything in here that's going to look great. Right. So, and then it started, well, then I was making meals for my husband and it ended up being, I tell you, the taskmaster took over here for sure for many years. And to a point where my kids would say, oh, is dad eating out of a glass container again tonight? Because I would have his meals, I would have my meals, and it was like all ready to go. But that was prepping for my life of when I get home, I'm going to be tired.
100%. It's
But
loving.
It's
often.
not for everybody, but now letting go of Tommy a little bit, it's more prepping what can go with things when I don't feel like, even if I prep, like this week I did, trying to get a few more carbs in, I did some chili. But by day three, I was tired of chili. I might have still two more bowls of chili that I was supposed to have. And I just like threw together like meat, cheese, crackers, pickles, and a protein shake. And that's going to be okay. Like it doesn't need to. The time, the energy and time that you have to meal prep something, great. If you hate it and you are like turned off by it, it's like just make sure it's in the fridge and ready. Like
Yeah.
everything is completely ready. Fruits washed, veggies are cut, they're in the bags. It's like there's no decision fatigue that has to happen here. It's like pull it out. Here we go.
Yeah. But you know what I like? And again, this is why it's so great to talk to you. There's an evolution here, right? Like at first there was a lot of rigidity, and now you've learned what the essentials are and how to do it. And that takes time. Again, like this isn't happening in 6 weeks. We talked about this in 30/30, people redesigning their fridges, and people had the
Yes.
best idea, right? Oh gosh, guys, if you guys are listening, people shared their photos. I was so freaking inspired, but people had great ideas of putting the veggies in the door so that you see it more instead of buried in that drawer. And
Yeah.
even stuff like that, it's the smallest thing, but it makes the biggest difference. Because
Yeah.
nowadays, I refuse to put any healthy food down in the drawer. I'm putting the diet drinks down there, right? Like I'm putting like
Yeah.
everything that I know people are going to go search for is in that little hidden drawer. And the grapes and the green peppers, all that stuff, all that's visible. I think with time, what you're talking about, this everything's already prepped and ready to go. I think we learn that over time when it's like, yeah, you had it in the fridge and you still couldn't do it. Like I've had patients where they've prepped the meal, but it's not in a to-go container, so they still don't take it. I'm like, but it wasn't prepared enough. Everyone has a different version of this.
And it's what works for you.
Yeah.
I have patients that's like, oh, I'm not a meal prepper. Honestly, I'll never forget one of my patients that started and she threw the drive through 3 meals a day. And I'm like, you bet we can help you, no problem. And
Yeah.
then she left and I was like, oh man, okay, no problem. And seriously, that's where you can start because it's like, what 1% upgrade can I make at those places? And now we shifted to all of a sudden she's eating at home.
Of
And
course,
she's
but you know what? I love you didn't fight her. I do the same thing.
no,
There's nothing worse than like if someone, I'll have patients that might like they might be retired and love to go out to breakfast every morning. That's like a common thing sometimes if it's the way that someone's living their life. And I'm like, amazing, we're gonna figure out that breakfast. I'm not here to take away your one joy because they think it's easy, right? Like the drive-through or whatever that person's living. And you with time show them a different way, but we don't get led there in 1 minute. And then you don't want to come back to a place when they're against everything that you're about.
yeah, and they will as soon as you tell them no, it's
They want to go for it.
and it can fit. We say all food fits. Like just what are we going to pair here? It has to be real. It has to be doable, sustainable. I tell my patients, if you can't do this for the rest of your life, change.
100%.
Because you are forcing yourself to eat your breakfast at 7 o'clock. You will come back to your normal 10 o'clock. So let's go to what you normally do instead of what
Totally.
you should. Eat what you
Totally.
want, not what you should. What can we pair with it?
Yeah, totally. Because otherwise, that feeling happens where people feel like they're about to explode. Like internally, they're like, I'm about to go eat all the things. I'm like, okay, so it means we're not bringing these things in, right? And then I always say, yes, there needs to be enough physiological help with meds and stuff. But if you feel like the weekend is a time to go buck wild, like what is happening with your week? Because we need to bring more stuff into your week. It's honestly, it's not working out what we're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I encourage patients, like bring in this fear food. This is looking really too good.
Oh,
There's
yes.
going to be a bomb that goes off because you've been so good.
Yeah.
What's the fear food? Let's bring this in. Let's have this. Potato chips, let's have this.
Isn't it
Because,
funny that we've done
yeah,
this long enough where when we look at a food log, we can tell when someone's trying to impress? You can tell a mile away.
yeah.
They're not a lick of chocolate. Maybe there's some people that never touch this stuff, but usually there's like a noodle somewhere. There's something, and you can tell when someone's, and then they're mad the minute they have it. They're like, but then I gained 5 pounds. I'm like, yeah, because you had no carbohydrates. Now you bring in an apple and it sabotages you. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yes.
that's called glycogen in the muscle, my friends, but they don't know that. We have the benefit of looking at this all day long, but I love that you bring that up. How do you have them incorporate those fear foods?
If I see it and there's an opportunity, like say go camping or whatever, you're salty. What's your favorite thing? And it's chips. Okay, let's bring those camping and see how we do. We always say accept and allow, accept that these things are going to happen and allow them to happen as well, because this is how we're going to stay on track. Do this for life. So intentionally have the chips though. Do not sit in front of the fire with the bag
Yeah.
because you're in conversation and you just are like, this is so great. And then you're, oh, we're at the bottom of the bag. So intentionally have these chips. And could you add a protein here? And I always say, can you? Do you want to? Ask yourself that if you don't let it go.
Five
Can you
second
have
funeral. Yeah.
a pepperoni stick with this chip? If not, it's not around. You don't want to draw attention. Let it
Mhm.
go. We're just going to have the potato chips,
Yeah.
right? Like it's fine.
I
Done.
accept and allow, because I always say delay, don't deny. You know you're going to have it. So when I say the delay, it's let's make sure to get some nutritious food in you. Again, I'm obsessed with balancing the blood sugar, things like that. But the
Yes.
don't deny, eventually it's going to happen. And it's whether we can do things in a way where it feels balanced and in control and your health benefits versus denying it. And then it's the beach ball that just boom out of the water, it explodes. But I love this accept and allow. And then the example that you brought in, where it's brought in a way that where you could experiment, like if you're on a trip, things like that.
And you're controlling it,
Yeah.
right? Like you're in control. I've said to myself, my whole journey is like, when you have a craving, let's get rid of it because you will, when you're in control, if I could just have a small blizzard,
Mhm.
you're in control. You're going to go for the small blizzard.
Right.
Every day that goes by that you keep thinking about this blizzard, it turns into a blizzard, poutine, like you name it. This gets so massive because you've built this up. So while you're in control, let's just go do this small little thing, get it over with. Because when you say you can, sometimes you don't even want the thing anymore.
Oh, I know. It was funny. The other day we went to Costco and of course I was hungry, right? Why did we do this? We're leaving and I got a piece of pizza and it didn't taste good. And I was like, oh, there you go. It was a bite or two. And I mean, the thing is, sometimes it just doesn't hit right. And you think in your mind you're hungry and it's going to taste all good. It just didn't taste good that day. But I wasn't like, I can't have this. It's like, no, we can get like a slice of pizza. It doesn't matter. I love that you brought this up with the you're in control of it. Bring it
Yes.
in when you still have some bearings about it and it's not a big monster that is going to need 100 things to get satisfied.
And then you
Yeah,
add tired and whatever, your emotions are all tied into this. And it's like, it turns into a half day affair of going all these places and getting all these things that you felt deprived over when a week ago it started with just a small little blizzard.
totally.
Like,
Totally. Are there things that you do in the day, like, I don't know, tips, tricks, hacks that you find to be helpful? Like sometimes people will say front loading their protein, like getting a protein coffee in the morning. Is there anything that you do where you're like, oh, that's actually very helpful for me? And I know it might vary for other people, but I love to hear things that are working for someone.
I usually start my day with like, this is the longest trend I have had of starting my morning with my yogurt bowl that has my nut and seeds and my chocolate sauce and everything on it. And honestly, I say, eat what you love.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be somewhat excited about something that you're going to eat today,
You have
right?
to.
Maybe it
Uh-huh.
won't be everything, but love what you eat. Be excited about it. Don't choke this down and chew this. I've done this so many times, the slim fast bars and drinks, and it's like it's disgusting. And you're practically plugging your nose, but I love everything this is why I meal prep, because I'm like, what am I feeling like for the next week?
Yeah.
And love what you're doing. I then pack a protein juice that right now is really refreshing. And I have that throughout the day. And I've really been trying to focus on my hydration. And I take probably, they're still there, about 6 or 7 different pills in the morning. And this is now what works for me: 3 gulps between each pill. And I'm done 40 ounces of water.
Wow. I'm
Yes,
impressed.
there's barely anything left. And so I'm like, bang, girl, you just, and it's after my yogurt bowl. Otherwise, I would be so full, I probably wouldn't eat my yogurt bowl. And then
Yeah.
I take my 40 ounces of protein juice. That's what's happening during the day. Hydration and fiber, because I got the protein thing going on. That's just
Yeah.
second nature now for me. But if it's not for you, get your protein in, like it, like the protein powder, like the protein drink. Don't just drink it because you're told to. And yeah, then I have my lunch, which is usually consists of some sort of protein and some veggies. And what depends. If I feel like I had a couple weeks there that I was on a date trend, where the date and the chocolate, and now I'm over it, and that's fine. I'm not going to beat myself up over it. Some days I
Yeah.
look at it and go, do you really need another one of those chocolate dates? Does it fit in today? Is this just tiredness? Why do you want it?
Yeah.
But, and then suppers, that's where I struggle a little bit, is that because I kind of front load my day, I don't feel like a big meal there.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to be a little bit more incorporating a little bit more there, because I would just put the yogurt bowl on repeat right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Now being more aware of the carbs, it's like, okay, the yogurt bowl can't be on repeat. We have to have a little more something. But really, it's protein, fiber, hydration, and eat what you like.
Yeah.
Put in what you like. And you're not going to start at 110 grams of protein. I say to my patients, can you just add it in at every meal? What's a sidekick that you could put into what? You have a bowl of Cheerios? Awesome. What's the sidekick we could add in here?
I love that. The
Have
phrase
a
is
sandwich.
sidekick.
What's the sidekick? Instead of, whoa, let's just change your whole diet, right? We're going to add this in. And then once we do this for 3 months, then can we fine tune a little bit and actually start looking at, oh, we're only getting about 60 grams of protein. Can we ramp this up a little bit?
Yeah.
Same with fiber. You don't go from 0 to 60,
Right.
I
You'd
try.
literally you'd have pain if you would do that. Like
Oh,
literally gaseous pain. Okay.
Taskmaster did it. You bet. You tell me 25 grams of fiber, I do 30. And then I felt like the Michelin woman. And then I'm beating myself up because I feel large. And I'm like, you're doing all these things and you aren't losing weight. When I took it back to a time of a little bit less going on in the brain, I'm like, oh, you've hit 30 grams of fiber every day this week.
Yeah.
This is why you feel like the Michelin woman. You aren't doing anything wrong. That whole reflection, not in the moment, not in the time that you're twirling off into whatever land because you're mad at yourself. Oh, a bird just hit my window.
I saw it. Oh, like it was beautiful though. It was a white bird. Like maybe a dove. Oh my God.
No, it probably was a pigeon. Oh, and then I can't stand that because then they're like usually on our hot tub lid. I don't even want to look. And my husband's here
Probably
to
have a
take
dead
it down.
bird down there.
It's a sign. Be done with it. Ugh.
I love these tips that you gave. So it's like water done, protein done, exercise done. You've just figured out routines where these things are really happening for you, right? Like you figured out the breakfast that works for you. You call the protein water, is it? Or what do you make with it?
Juice. Juice.
Juice. So what does that mean?
It's clear.
Is it
Like
the
clear.
clear whey isolates?
Yeah. Well, this turned me off when I saw it because it says beef protein. And I'm like, oh, it's going to taste like hamburger. But when I went and talked to them at the supplement, it's just like a pure form of protein.
Yeah.
And like, it's amazing. It's 20 grams of protein and 90 calories. And I just throw it in my 40 liter and I add like a true lime to it.
Yeah.
Because I just like a little bit more. You would like it because it's a weak flavor.
What's the name? You're gonna have to bring this when we meet. next year. Wait,
Yeah.
what's the name of the brand? Shout the brand out. What is it?
Well, could you read that lettering?
Is it ALY or ALT?
I'm guessing it's a T because the
Oh, it
leaf.
goes straight. Yeah.
Yeah, ALT beef protein. It's grass-fed beef protein, lemon lime. It's delish. The flavor I had before was raspberry lemonade. And
You
I
know what?
actually wasn't going to get this, but they're selling out. This is the only flavor left, and it's so good. Refreshing now. So,
I'm gonna go look it up because you know it's a whole trend right now, like beef tallow and stuff. Are you in on this?
oh,
With the, I
yeah,
mean, this is like right. We're sitting here laughing. It's a
good.
moment, but that looks phenomenal. What you have there?
It is. And like I said, it's not strong.
Yeah,
So that's why I put a little bit of true lime in there because I like a
get the
little bit
taste going.
thing.
But
Yeah.
I like this too. Like I think our all our taste preferences are different. I literally try every single product out there just because I love knowing the different things that are available. And then I
Yeah.
settle on my favorites, but it doesn't mean that that's going to be everyone's favorite. I mean, gosh, people go to the health food store, GNC, whatever, go anywhere and get the variety packs of things. I think it's really worth it to figure out what you like and what you don't. And it's not just like, oh, this protein doesn't work for me. There are a million kinds. There's no
Yeah.
excuse anymore if you want to use that as a tool. You don't have to. You can use whole-based foods, that's fine. But sometimes these tools I find to be so helpful just to supplement a little bit.
It's taken me a long time to find a protein powder. I usually find the ones that I like from the States, and then I've made this trip and now I'm out. So it's like you really have to find something here. And now I've found the PE Science Select and it's delicious. I just saw that they're announcing a apple pie flavor.
Ooh.
I'm like, wow.
You
Because
know, I'm
my
not
caramel waffle cone was like what do they do? These short little specials and then you can't get it
all
again.
the limited editions kill me. I will always try a limited edition, but I'm angry. I don't know if you guys have Bear Bell there, but they have a key lime pie, and I get it in the summer, and then they don't have it in the winter, and it's annoying to me to
Yes,
not have it all year. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. You gotta try things, and just because you bought the one at Casco and it tastes like crap, keep trying some. Taste it, put it in different things. Maybe don't like I don't drink mine plain.
Yeah.
Ever. Shake it up and drink it. Shake it up and put it in a coffee. Or I'm trying a new one this morning. I mashed up half a banana to get my carbs in with the peanut butter cup
Ooh.
and shook it up with Fairlife. And I'm going to put it over my instant coffee. It's going to be banana peanut butter. I'm going
Oh
to
my
try.
God. Listen, you're doing all the on-trend things because this whole like the banana stuff being blended into it, that's also a moment right now. Look,
I
you're
wouldn't
on
even
it.
know. Who would know? She's just
All
a
the regular.
54-year-old woman trying out things for her own taste buds.
I like exactly what you're saying. You change it to fit what you want. Because I do the same thing. It's very rare that I just open a drink and drink it. That'll be like I'm on the road, I'm busy, but
Yes.
100% I'll add a flavoring to it. I'll add instant coffee. I'll do whatever I do. Oftentimes when people are like, oh, it doesn't taste good. I'm like, yeah, because it was never meant to be consumed on its own. It was meant for you to curate what's happening. So I think some people don't want to do that work. So then that's not the
Yeah.
product for them. But
It's just like
okay.
they just want that, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Doesn't
Mine's
exist.
never like that. It has to be zhuzhed up, make it a little sparkly, little something,
Yeah.
make it taste good. I don't eat things that don't taste good.
I feel like that's been a theme today of what you've been talking about, and I really love that. If you don't like something, why is it in your plan? It just shouldn't be. There's no reason for it.
Because you'll never do it again. And then if it's part of a plan that made you feel good, you're forced to do it all the time. Find something that you love that also keeps you satisfied, makes you feel good, gives you energy, because you'll do it on repeat all the
Yeah.
time.
Ah, this is
So,
okay. Listen, I could talk to you for hours because
yeah.
this is, first of all, people are going to have learned a lot when they're listening. They're like, oh, I got this idea, I got that idea. Do you think there's anything that we missed? Is there anything where like, I think this would be helpful if people still heard about this?
Yeah, just take your first step and just do it. There just isn't a right time. There isn't a right place. I feel like I wasted so many years of my life because I did wait. Because you don't even have to wait to be able to afford a program or afford a course or whatever. It's like, what is just one thing that I could do today that I could do for a month. And maybe that's just like work on my water. Like who do you need to go and talk to about your water? Start there and start with just being aware of, can I add some protein in? Because when you start feeling a little bit more energized, because let's face it, it's usually always about fatigue and exhaustion and we're overworked and the
Yeah,
family and everything. If you could just give yourself back just a little bit of energy and a little bit of hope, just start with, how can I just add a little bit more protein? Don't be tracking, don't be like getting all crazy about it. Can I just make it happen at every meal? And can I drink my water? When you get that energy, you might
yeah,
want to start moving. And then you start moving and you feel a little bit better, and it's, oh, I'm sleeping a little bit better, right? Like they all just start to intertwine, but we don't have to make this grand reveal of we're walking through this curtain and going down a red carpet because I'm gonna start a program,
I know.
you
I know
know?
that's going to stick around. So let the snowball happen. Take the first step. You can be tired, exhausted. Because honestly, life's usually looking horrible when you're starting these things out. I was overwhelmed as can be. I had a newborn. I'm like, I can't do this. There's too much. It wasn't even just the newborn phase. It was the fact that sleeping was hard, just everything. And those moments, you can't do all the things. And so I like what you're saying is just do something and then the next thing will present. And with time, you'll want to do more and more. And we become different people over time too. And we give ourselves enough time to allow for that, right? It takes time, I think, to evolve into this next version of ourselves.
And honestly, I say do that part till when you know you quit. Now, there
Mm,
tends to be quitting time at about 9 weeks, right?
yes.
And then look into support. Honestly, the best support I got was 8 years deep into my journey. When I started 30/30 in January, this was a whole side of my journey that I didn't even know needed repair.
Yes.
That mindset that we don't need to like do as I say, not as I do. Because even as I started this program, I'm telling patients, expect not perfection. This is okay if we, yet here I am living in perfection,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Taskmaster. And now I'm like, okay, I totally get this. The journey doesn't end in 6 weeks. It's
Yeah.
forever. And we don't have to be in a rush. We can just do this a little step at a time. If I was to look at how long we've been doing my body composition, old me would have long thrown the towel in. But every 2 weeks, doing a different adjustment and a different
Yes.
adjustment and a different adjustment. If I was banking just on pounds on a scale,
I know.
I this would have been, I'm done with this program for sure. It's understanding what you need for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it changes your perspective, right? I know I used to beat myself up how slow in quote marks my weight loss was. So this is actually hot off the press. I redid my in-body because I was like, I've been doing a lot. This is BS and it's not moving, da 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 da. Okay, do you want to know that I've lost in the past 2, 3 weeks 4 pounds of fat, put on a bunch of muscle? And I was like, okay, so just stop this narrative of things aren't working, because it looks like it's only down one, whatever, but it's like, no, you put on muscle, you lost all this fat. It's not true. It's not true what's in our brain when we're using different tools and thinking long term about it. Because then you get this thing where you're like, you don't want to strength train because you're like, the weight's going to go up,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
It's such a game for no
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything you shared is super divine. How can people find you? Because I feel like you are getting more active on social. I love your stuff. I tell you this all the time. I'm addicted to the content. It's really good, guys. So, how can people find you? How can they follow you? Tell us more, and we'll make sure to link everything that you say.
Basically, it's small steps for lasting change on Facebook or Instagram. And I mean, let me just say, those are the only two places I am because this is huge for me coming out of my comfort zone and actually doing this. Not to mention, this is like a full-time job. This takes up, I've had to take Tommy out of the situation and be like, you only can do this X amount of time in the week because you just are like, well, I better create content. But so
People
that's
don't
where,
realize, I tell people this because I help medical entrepreneurs with doing social, right? Everybody respect people that are doing content online because it is hard to turn the camera on, to talk for a minute, to edit it, to get it out. People don't realize the time commitment. It's a huge obligation. So thank you for doing anything is what I want to say because it's not easy to do social.
And I am at CMC Weight Loss Clinic, but right now we are just in our little prairie town of Coaldale and Lethbridge, but hoping that now that I've really been a part of the virtual world, I just think for people where, especially where I'm at, I just feel like this is really good. Like maybe when I'm starting out, I need that in clinic, gotta go type thing. I never used to think that. I'm like, virtual is not good for me, right? Like I need to be there. They need to see that I really haven't been good. But this has been unreal. So I think that will be something that we look into at our clinic is doing something virtual and
Yes,
having it be 6 weeks or whatever. Maybe you just need 6 weeks of maintenance or whatever, because I just feel like bringing this in and then trialing it and
yeah.
bringing this in and trialing it.
And
Amazing.
virtual is so accessible for people. It
Yes.
works so much more in their world. They don't need to take a half a day of work off. It's actually very hard to physically get to a clinic. And also, the options are so much bigger too. Sometimes groups or different settings where you couldn't do that on a one-on-one. So
Maybe
there's
you
just so,
connect with someone who's across the world,
yes,
right? I
yeah,
would never have been able to be a part of the 30/30 if it wasn't for virtual. And I think there's a
totally,
lot of people out there that don't even have any opportunity to do anything, right? And
totally.
they don't know about, I just stumbled across this. And then I was like, oh, I need to be put on a wait list for this when I was like, woo. And people are searching. Let me tell you, every
Oh,
time I
they
ask
are.
patients, well, how'd you hear about us? It's like, oh, Google.
Yeah,
People are
people
out
really
there,
want
they are
help.
feeling lost. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to make sure to link the clinic website. We're going to make sure to link your social. Definitely when this airs, I'm going to make sure, on my social link so people can find you easily too. Because I know it's hard for people to put the names in. You know what I mean? But thank you so much for coming on, for giving us this time, for inspiring everyone, and just showing us, honestly, that it's possible and just giving everyone probably a little bit more motivation to just keep going. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh man, no, thank you. It's been an honor, a pleasure, and finally I'm not nervous.
Yes. See, I was like, listen, it's just us talking.
Yeah, it took me a little bit, but then it's all good.
That marks the end of today's episode. But if you're newer to the podcast, I want to tell you about something that we have, and it's a free podcast roadmap. So this is perfect for any of you that are listening where you want to be directed to very specific episodes. So let's say that you are just starting out and you want to know, what should I do right when I start on the medications? Or you're experiencing certain side effects on the GLP-1s, or you want to know what to do if you're in a plateau, or if emotional eating is taking over, or if hunger levels are high. So we have many different categories of episodes that we've talked about, because there's a lot at this point. So if you want to be able to navigate that very easily, we have it broken down by category, and also the episodes that are there, and we hyperlink to everything. So you can just click on it and find the episode, easy peasy. If you want that, you can go to renteaclinic.com/podcast roadmap. We'll have it linked right here underneath the show notes where you're listening. And you can go ahead and get that free resource so that it makes it easy for you to navigate, because I know that it's really hard when someone has an established podcast. I am such a podcast fiend. I'm listening to podcasts all day long. And when I find one that I love, but there's a lot that are out there, I am so lost. So I hope that you enjoy this free podcast roadmap. Again, the link to get to that is going to be renteaclinic.com/podcast roadmap. I hope this is helpful, and let me know if you have any questions.